Fadeke and Bola weren't just friends, they were sisters in every way that mattered. Born only months apart, their mothers would joke they were twins separated by fate, brought together by destiny. They shared everything: tiny secrets, laughter, and dreams that seemed to stretch as far as the blue skies above them. Fadeke, with her lively energy and boundless imagination, could convince anyone to believe in her dreams. Bola, on the other hand, was quieter, more reflective, her eyes always watching, listening, and learning. Together, they were like two pieces of puzzle fitting together in perfect harmony. But as they grew, the world around them began to change. Childhood dreams turned to adult worries, and life's simple joys gave way to the reality of an uncertain future. Years passed, and Fadeke and Bola found themselves navigating a world far more challenging than they had imagined. After finishing their schooling, they each dreamt of getting stable jobs, hoping to support their families and maybe one day start a life of their own. Together, they sent out countless applications, braved interviews, and returned home with polite rejections that made their hearts sink. But even in their moments of defeat, they found strength in each other. Sitting in Fadeke's room, surrounded by scraps of paper and rejection letters, they shared a quiet determination. They still believed in themselves and in each other. One rainy afternoon, after another day of rejection, Fadeke turned to Bola with a spark of excitement in her eyes. "Bola," she said, her voice trembling with enthusiasm, "why should we wait for someone to give us a job? Why don't we create our own?" Bola listened with growing excitement, nodding along. They had both noticed the popularity of colorful fabrics and beautiful African designs in the market. If they could gather some capital, they could buy fabric and sell them as a team. The idea was bold, almost reckless. They barely had enough money for their daily needs, let alone a business. But the more Fadeke spoke, the more Bola felt her own spirit lift. They would find ways to raise capital and buy beautiful fabrics for sales. Bola's eyes sparkled as she nodded. In that moment, they promised to make their dreams come true together. The journey was far harder than either had imagined. With only a small amount of money scraped together from family contributions, Fadeke and Bola couldn't afford a shop. Instead, they turned to the streets, traveling from door to door with bundles of fabric on their heads and hopes larger than any store could hold. They spent long, exhausting days in the hot sun, calling out to passers-by and visiting customers in their homes. Sometimes they would make a sale, and other times they would return home with aching feet and empty wallets. But every day, Fadeke's boundless energy and Bola's quiet resilience kept them moving forward. As their customer base slowly grew, they became a familiar sight in the neighborhood. People came to love their vibrant fabrics and beautiful designs. After months of hard work, they saved enough to rent a tiny shop on a quiet corner of the market. That first shop was no bigger than a small room, but to Fadeke and Bola, it was their kingdom. Together, they painted the walls in cheerful colors, arranged their fabrics with care, and proudly displayed their first sign. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. With each passing month, Fadeke and Bola's reputation grew, and so did their income. They could afford to expand their shop and stock up on more fabrics. Customers came from near and far, drawn by the warmth and charm the two friends brought to their business. As their success blossomed, so did their dreams. They spoke of buying even bigger shop in the heart of the market, of bringing in more varieties of fabric, and of one day becoming the most well-known seller in the town. But as they reached new heights, Fadeke began to feel an itch for independence. She wanted to see if she could build her own business, take risks, and forge a path that reflected her unique vision. After months of thought, Fadeke finally mustered the courage to share her idea with Bola. She explained how she felt, that she wanted to open her own shop nearby so they could both thrive independently while still supporting each other. Bola's face fell, but she forced herself to smile, agreeing to the idea. In her heart, though a small seed of fear had been planted, she worried that without Fadeke, she might not be able to succeed on her own. But she kept those worries to herself, and together, they divided their savings and set out to build their individual dreams. Initially, both shops did well, and two friends continued to support each other. But as months turned into years, their paths diverged in unexpected ways. Fadeke's shop struggled with fewer customers and dwindling sales, while Bola's shop became busier than ever. Fadeke confided in Bola, expressing her frustration and worry. She spoke of sleepless nights, of wondering why her shop was failing despite all her hard work. Bola listened, offering words of comfort and encouragement, but inside, she felt something else, a subtle, guilty relief that her own shop was thriving while Fadeke's was not. As the weeks passed, Fadeke's struggles grew worse. She found herself returning to Bola, asking for loans to restock her shelves. Bola offered the money willingly, but each time, a part of her felt a strange satisfaction. She convinced herself that she was simply supporting her friend, but deep down, a darkness was growing. Unbeknownst to Fadeke, Bola had already taken steps to ensure her own success. Fadeke's days became a series of battles to bring in customers, battles to pay off loans, and battles to keep hope alive. Every morning, she would open her shop, arranging her fabrics with care, hoping today would be different, but her store remained quiet, a stark contrast to Bola's bustling shop just a few stalls away. Each time a customer passed her shop to buy from Bola, Fadeke's heart sank a little deeper. Often, she would sit alone after closing, watching Bola's shop, wondering what she was doing wrong. Why does everyone go to Bola's shop? She would murmur to herself. What is she doing that I'm not? At times, she considered giving up and switching to another business entirely. But each time she confided her doubts with Bola, her friend would insist, "Don't worry, Fadeke. Just keep your faith alive. Things will get better." As Fadeke's struggles grew, so did the peculiar setbacks she faced. Customers began complaining about the quality of her fabrics, something that had never been an issue before. Once she received a batch of material that was frayed and faded, despite ordering the same quality she always had. Another time, a customer angrily returned a dress, claiming it had shrunk beyond recognition after one wash. Bola continued to be confident, always quick with comforting words, yet never truly listening to Fadeke's worries. And each time Fadeke asked for a loan, Bola's encouragement felt more like pity, even as she handed over the money. One early morning, Fadeke and Bola set out together to the market to restock their shops. It was a rare occasion for them to walk side by side as they once had, with laughter and light conversations filling the air. For a brief moment, Fadeke felt the warmth of their old friendship return, pushing away the nagging suspicion that had begun to shadow her mind. As they crossed a busy road, a sudden honk startled them, and in her haste, Bola tripped. Her handbag fell to the ground, scattering its contents across the street. Fadeke rushed to help her friend, bending down to gather the items. But as her hand reached for a small, half-broken bottle, her fingers froze. Inside the bottle was a photo of Fadeke bound in dark threads. The sight sent chills down her spine. She knew what this meant. In her culture, a photograph sealed in a bottle was often used in dark spiritual practices to control someone's fate. Shock and rage surged through her as she snatched up the bottle and confronted Bola. "Bola!" Fadeke's voice was barely a whisper. "What is this? Bola, why do you have my picture in here?" Fadeke's voice trembled with disbelief, pain etched into her face. Bola stammered, unable to meet her friend's eyes. Around them, curious onlookers gathered. whispering and pointing at the two women. People gasped as they saw the bottle and understood its implications. They knew it meant betrayal and a deliberate attempt to manipulate Fadeke's destiny for Bola's own gain. Bola's face drained of color as she stammered, searching for an explanation. But before she could say anything, a small crowd gathered around, their curiosity piqued by Fadeke's horrified expression. They saw the bottle, the picture, and instantly recognized the significance. Whispers erupted, and gasps filled the air as everyone realized the betrayal unfolding before them. This is witchcraft, one woman cried, her hand covering her mouth. She put a curse on her friend. Bola, how could you? Another shouted. Bola stumbled backward, her eyes wide with fear and anger. But there was no escaping the truth. Fadeke's heart shattered. She felt a mixture of rage, hurt, and sadness, her mind reeling from the realization that her best friend had betrayed her in the worst way imaginable. Bola stood frozen, her face twisted in a mix of anger and resentment. She didn't even attempt to deny her actions anymore. Instead, she turned on Fadeke, bitterness spilling from her like venom. I did what I had to do, Bola hissed, her voice low yet defiant. You were always the one people loved, always the one with the talent, the charm. I had nothing without you, Fadeke, nothing. Her words hung in the air, heavy and painful, cutting through Fadeke like a knife. The crowd's murmur grew louder, expressions of shock turning to fury. Some of the older women in the crowd stepped forward, scolding Bola and blessing Fadeke for surviving such a terrible betrayal. May your destiny be restored. One woman cried, raising her hands in prayer. Bola had visited a traditionalist in secret, driven by a desperate fear of failing without Fadeke. The traditionalist told her that Fadeke possessed a powerful destiny, a charisma that attracted fortune and success. Bola only needed to shift that luck away from her friend and keep it for herself. A ritual was performed and a small bottle was handed to her. Inside was Fadeke's picture, bound in threads, a spell whispered over it. Bola carried it with her wherever she went, just as instructed by the traditionalist, hiding it deep within her handbag, convinced that as long as it remained unbroken, her success was guaranteed. As the weight of Bola's actions sank in, Fadeke's heart hardened. She looked at her former friend, her face void of the warmth it once held. With a steady voice, she spoke. Our friendship is over, Bola. I trusted you. I loved you like a sister. And this is what you've done? I want nothing to do with you anymore. With those words, Fadeke turned away, her heart aching, but her spirit unbroken. The crowd dispersed, some congratulating Fadeke on breaking free from the curse, and others murmuring about Bola's shameful downfall. In the days that followed, Fadeke felt a strange mix of relief and sorrow. She was free from a heavy cloud of misfortune that had followed her, but her heart ached for the friendship she had lost. Each morning, she opened her shop with renewed hope, greeting customers with a genuine smile, her spirit lighter than it had been in years. Slowly, the change became visible. Customers began returning. Her shelves emptied quicker than she could restock. Her small shop bustling with life once again. Fadeke poured her heart into her work, finding healing in each sale and each connection. People in the market rallied around her, offering support and blessings. Vendors who had once been mere acquaintances became friends, creating a sense of community and protection. You are destined for greatness, Fadeke, an elderly woman told her one afternoon. Sometimes, the hardest path leads to the brightest futures. Fadeke took those words to heart. She transformed her shop, adding new fabrics, experimenting with vibrant patterns, and creating designs that attracted even more customers. Her small shop blossomed into one of the busiest spots in the market, her name spreading far and wide. As Fadeke thrived, Bola's life spiraled into a painful isolation. Her reputation shattered. Customers no longer trusted her. Her once bustling shop stood empty, the whispers of betrayal following her like shadows. People would pass her shop without a glance, some openly sneering or shaking their heads in disapproval. Rumors spread, reaching distant towns and leaving Bola with few options. She had no one to confide in, no friends left who could overlook the gravity of her actions. She became a pariah, her shop doors rarely opening, her shelves gathering dust. Desperation clawed at her heart. The curse she had wished upon Fadeke seemed to have turned back on her. With no choice left, Bola finally packed her belongings, shutting the doors to the shop she had once cherished, leaving town under a cloud of shame. She disappeared, becoming a distant, painful memory. Fadeke's story became a tale of caution and resilience, whispered from stall to stall in the marketplace. She had endured betrayal, but emerged stronger. A reminder that destiny cannot be stolen or altered by the jealousy of others. Her journey became an inspiration for many, a symbol of resilience and self-belief. As her business continued to flourish, Fadeke took a moment to reflect on the lessons she had learned. Trust, she realized, is a fragile gift, one that should be given wisely. She vowed to keep her heart open to friendship, but always to be very careful. One evening, as she closed up shop, Fadeke gazed at the bustling market, a sense of peace settling over her. She had found her true path, and the future was as bright as the fabrics she sewed. With a deep breath, she whispered a quiet thank you to the universe, grateful for the strength to overcome, the courage to forgive, and the wisdom to rise above. True friendship should be built on trust, respect, and sincerity. As Fadeke's story shows, betrayal can come from those closest to us, but resilience and belief in oneself are what ultimately pave the path to success. Remember, sometimes the greatest strength comes from walking away. If you like this story, I'm sure you will love the next one. Click to watch it now. Goodbye.